What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Rundown, episode 153. Let's go. Welcome back, everybody, to the podcast. We're coming at you for the first time with our new format. We're going to those weekly episodes we talked about instead of the bi-weekly. We got Nam here with us today. What's up, Nam?
How's it going?
Good.
Awesome.
Excited for the new format. Excited to talk some new shows. We are officially entering the winter 2026 rundown. Caught myself there. Almost at 2025, like I do for the entire month of January all the time. We got some new shows coming in.
It's good that you're breaking it now.
I know, right? Like usually it's like February where I finally start saying 2026. But we got a couple of our new shows coming at you today. So we got JJK season 3, the Culling game arc. We're going to be talking about episodes 1 and 2. Some of you guys may have saw these a while ago. They were released as a movie in theaters. So if you guys have checked out, lucky you. We're going to dive into those. We've also got the first episode of Hell's Paradise season 2. And we're still waiting on Mommy Frieren to come back, but we'll have that next time. Before we get into it, best way to support the podcast is, this week, join the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't. You can find that at linktree.com/animedegens. You can find that, our socials, and more. Tyler's always throwing some fun content out there, especially on the YouTube. I think we're going to start releasing the rundown episodes on the YouTube as well. So you guys can check those out. You can see our bright, shining, beautiful faces when we talk about the shows we're watching. Perfect. Should we jump right into it?
I'd say there's no better time.
Perfect. We're going to be jumping right into JJK. So we got episode 1, Execution, and episode 2, A One More Time. Which is weird, because if you're executed, how do you do it one more time?
It's a really good question.
But with this, I guess we'll find out. Well, we already found out. Hopefully the listeners have already found out too if they're listening to this. But we're going to dive right into this, and we're going to start with that opening scene. And I thought this was a really interesting scene. It was basically Yuji sitting there just trying to like wash the blood off his hands. And I thought this was a really cool metaphor they used here to like really show the overwhelming guilt that Itadori has after losing control of his body to Sukuna, and just the absolute rampage that occurred in Shibuya. And I think that's going to be a big theme for this season, at least to start, is kind of him coping with this and dealing with that, and kind of how he gets over that. What do you think about that, Nam?
I would say that's a pretty accurate assessment, especially because as he was washing his hands, the one thing that I noticed was how much blood was coming off of his hands, and yet it seemed like it never got any cleaner. There was just more and more blood still washing off. And I think that's also kind of a reflection too of just how much guilt Yuji's carrying, that he can't get it off that easily. It's not something that can just be washed away, you know? And just a really, really powerful message overall, and a really great way to start the season, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to be a really big plot point going forward, like I mentioned. And there's even some flashbacks later in the episode that kind of just really solidify that. There's one where it's like you're just seeing everybody that we lost at the end of season 2 during the Shibuya incident, and it's really hurting our boy here. I kind of feel bad for him. You've definitely noticed like a change in his demeanor as well throughout this episode. He's not that bright, bubbly goofball that we met in season 1.
Yeah, no, far from it at this point. And even just like the way how he's going about conversations and stuff like that with people, it's just it's so much different than what we're used to seeing from him. And I think it was a great way to carry it over. I mean, the last thing he remembers is just seeing the destruction that was left behind by him at the end of season 2, and then you go into season 3. It's really uh showing, and they've done a great job of portraying that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, speaking of like the destruction in Shibuya and Tokyo right now, like we do get to see the current state of that in this episode. And holy cursed spirits, like the curses are just running rampant. And I kind of noticed that like the designs of these have really been amplified. Like curses aren't like the size of a person or like, like a horse or something at this point. They are literally like tearing through skyscrapers. And I thought that was really interesting because like this event led to so much despair and fear in the JJK world. And that's what leads to the creation of curses. So it's a really cool way to show that they're like really amplifying the stakes with the opponents they're going to be facing going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. And then just as well too, like you said, the scale of the curses. I mean, we've dealt with a lot of really normal sized, small sized, very strong beings. But now you got these towering things. I mean, they're taller than skyscrapers even, and you got to compete with that. That's a huge power jump as well, in scale. I mean, the bigger they are, they can even be weaker, but they're still, in essence, stronger just because of that size and that weight that they carry.
Oh, definitely.
So it'll be also really interesting too to see just how they're gonna tackle a lot of that.
Yeah, and we do see a little bit of that throughout the episode. Like, even though the opponents are getting bigger, I think we've really seen Yuji like level up here. He's able to take down and deal with some of these massive curses a little easier than he would have been able to in the past.
I would say most of them he's able to kind of go toe to toe with. Just I mean, I don't think he really had anything to worry about there, except for someone who we haven't seen since JJK 0.
Oh yeah, dude.
He's back.
Big dog, Okotsu, Yuta is back. Like, I wasn't expecting Yuta to just show up and straight up attack Yuji here. Like, this isn't like the shy, timid Yuta we remember from JJK Zero. I know he kind of found himself towards the end of that, but even so, like, this Yuta is not the Yuta we know from the past.
Just a completely different, a total 180, right? If he never had to deal with the curse that he inflicted upon Rika, then this is probably how he would have always been, right? Just not a cursed user. He would have
Yeah.
never used his abilities. So,
Um,
um,
yeah, really a combination of that kind of dealing with that internally for him, but also, I mean, the night parade of what the hell it was not the night parade of 100,000 demons like it's called in everything else. They might even called it that honestly, but like just the shit that Ghetto pulled at the end of that movie, um, kind of put Yuta in a really tough spot. So it's cool to see that character development from him. I didn't think he was just gonna come out of here and like go right after the
just
main
start
character like
swinging.
that.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it.
No, it was really cool. And then just like their whole parkour scene that they had too.
Oh yeah,
That was a really nice touch that they had. I mean, really well animated too.
that definitely.
I'll I'll give it to Mappa on this one. I mean, we were dogging them hard after what they did to the end of season 2, but they're starting off strong at least with season 1 so far.
Season 3.
Or sorry, yeah, season 3, episode 1 at least. Um, and just as well too, just to see the wide variety of different creatures, and then just you to come in and body any of them like it's nothing.
Definitely. Yeah, I am a little curious to see like how this progresses because like Yuta was one of Gojo's boys. So like has he kind of switched sides and he's working for like the head of the Jujutsu world now? Like is they're not the world government, but they're kind of like the world government, you know? So like it's
They're
interesting.
feeling really world governmenty. I get you.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy to see that switch up, but I'm curious to see where that goes. And, you know, we're going to get into that a little bit later. But before we do, I do want to kind of jump into the intro and the OP. I really liked the visualizations here. I liked the animation. But in my opinion, this might be the weakest JJK opening song we've had yet.
You know, I would have to go back and re-listen to the other ones. I've got a coworker who um his tastes have gotten a lot better recently, right?
Okay.
Um he was very anti Dan to Dan until he finally saw the errors of his ways.
Well, that's good.
So I'll take his opinions a little bit more seriously. He was so high on this song. Like
Really?
for the first 2 days after the episode dropped, that was the only thing on his Spotify playlist.
Huh.
Literally the only thing on there.
Yeah, it's just like we're coming from last season and we got specials, right? And like this song, like the first time I heard "You Are My Special," that shit was stuck in my head
Yeah. Yeah,
nonstop.
yeah.
I can't even tell you what this song sounds like, and I've listened to it probably 3 or 4 times at this point, just between watching the episodes a couple of times, things like that. And it's just not as catchy, I guess.
Yeah, so I'll give you that one. It's not as catchy, but honestly, it still goes pretty good. It does do pretty good job.
I'm not saying it's bad.
I,
I'm
I
just
think
saying,
it's I think it's more or less kind of I don't know. It's tough to say. I mean,
yeah,
we'd probably have to listen to it a little bit more and then talk about it maybe again later on. But it's not. I don't feel like it's as bad as I initially thought.
yeah. I don't like I said, I don't think it's bad, but the other JJK openings have just been such bangers that I feel like it's not on the same level.
Just so much better. I'll give you that.
But there is one guy I want to get your opinion on. What do you think of our friend who's doing jumping jacks the whole time, like that dweeby ass looking superhero guy?
Speaking of Dan to Dan, I think that guy reminds me of Taro.
Okay, he does kind of have that look.
um, I'm curious because obviously this is the Culling games. If you don't understand what it's about right now, I'm sorry. But obviously we're gonna get to see him. He's gonna be either. I feel like he's gonna be someone that sides with Yuji and trains with them,
Okay,
or maybe like Megami, right? He knows him and they go to him for training.
all right. I'm gonna let you find that one out. Yeah, he's definitely an interesting character. There were a lot of new characters that we haven't met yet that were in the intro, including one of my favorites. I'm really excited to see him come into the show. He has like the coolest domain expansion in there, but I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't read the manga yet. So I'm going to hold off on that.
Yes, please do. That way we can enjoy it ourselves.
I don't want to have to go add beeps. You know, we've had to do that in the past. So I don't want to have to go in and add any like blocking out myself or someone talking. So we're gonna try our hardest here.
This is a post beep podcast.
Yeah,
No more bleeps.
yeah, we're not talking about Vegapunk during Wano.
Poor Tyler.
But getting back to the absolute or actual episode here, we kind of shift focus from Shibuya, and we learned that the Zenin clan has a new head, and we kind of get introduced to the leaders of the Zenin clan after Maki's sister died. There's going to be a new head for the clan. And one of those characters was Naoya. And I saw this guy on screen for 5 seconds and I hated him. I already hate him. Like, I do not like this guy. He's a smug little prick. And I was laughing because I was like, is he the only one we've seen in this show with blonde hair? I think so.
Is he?
He's not. He's like one of the main characters. I can't think of anybody else with blonde hair. Well, sorry, any male character with blonde hair.
Nanami.
But Nanami is the man. But like I saw him and his demeanor, and I instantly was like, this guy reminds me of every delinquent you see in like Yu Yu Hakusho, whatever, the guys who dye their hair blonde. And I'm like, is blonde hair just mean you're a prick in anime at this point? Like I think it's canon. I think it's just a fact.
I mean, you might be onto something.
It's just a classic trend, dude. It happens in actual Japan too. Like when you join a gang, you dye your hair blonde for some reason.
That is weird. Um, no, I definitely agree though. He just he came off so smug right off the bat, and just the way how he was speaking as well. Because we get introduced to his two uncles, right? We get introduced to Ogi and Jinchi. So both of them, all three of them, are in there as we're getting ready to read the will. But he's so cocky and so smug that he's mouthing off to these two. As Ogi almost takes his head off, and Jinchi punches his head or his fist through a wall.
Dude, yeah, respect your fucking elders, bro. Not that hard.
Seriously, just shut the fuck up. That's all you gotta do.
But leaving our new favorite prick in behind a little bit here, we get the will is read. It turns out that Noyao is going to be the head of the Zenin clan, and he has been given access to all the cursed tools and objects that are at Jujutsu High that belong to the Zenin clan, but he's not allowed to use them without the permission of his uncles. And that gets him right ticked off. And then we kind of get the big reveal here. Since Gojo's trapped in the prison realm in Cube, he's playing some GameCube right now, is what I'm going to say. The deal they had based on Tojo or Toji is off. And Megami will be allowed to rejoin the Zenin clan, and he will be the head after that happens. And that really led to like Naoya showing off some like massive villain vibes to me, because he thinks this is bullshit. How are you going to let some random be ahead of the clan? And he actually puts together a plan to try and kill Megami in the craziness that Tokyo is, because Megami is looking for Itadori right now. I think this is going to backfire super heavy for this guy. I kind of feel for him. I don't know how long he's going to be around. Let's be honest.
Same. I mean, he's giving off some really nasty vibes here, and anytime that someone like that has come into contact with not only Yuji but Yuji and Megami together, dude, you don't stand a chance. The two of
No.
them are gonna fucking destroy you before you even get a chance to even think about what to do next.
I mean, dude, he's gonna like get ready to throw hands, and then you're just gonna see Megami like cross his arms and go, "With this treasure I summon," and fucking Maharaga's gonna come out of nowhere and just kill everyone. It's a wrap.
Exactly.
Yeah, this I mean, this is a massive change for one of the head clans within the Jujutsu world. I'm excited to see how that plays out, or even if it does really play out in the show. I'm not sure. So like, I'm curious to see how that goes. But let's leave this prick behind. We got some great news there. We're really starting to build that world up. But I want to focus more right now on the world's best big brother. It's our boy Chozo. And I'm loving how so last season we did learn that Chozo and Itadori through some really weird family dynamic. They're brothers. And Chozo just being like, this is my little bro. I gotta fucking take care of him. I'm loving this dynamic. Like they went from really like trying to kill each other to being best bros. And it's kind of filling that gap that we've lost with Toto kind of being wherever he is, a lot less clapping going on right now. But I'm really loving that. And we got to see them display some awesome teamwork. The way they were
No,
taking down those curses was sick.
they were, and their teamwork was on point. Like they had impeccable faith in each other, and just the way how their abilities meshed as well. I mean, Yuji is very close combat, heavy fisted, whereas Chozo is very much ranged in that sense. I mean, he's got the ability to do close combat, but with that blood manipulation ability, he can just snipe away. And my God, the way how they just had so much faith in each other, it was amazing to see. Like it's almost like they had been brothers their entire lives.
Definitely. And this is like when I really realized that the animation has really picked up. And I was kind of thinking to myself, I was like, okay, did Mappa decide to actually animate every fight in this season 100%? Or are they just going really hard because this was released as a movie? So I'm curious to see if it holds up, but I'm happy to see Mappa got their shit together a little bit here.
At least for now.
At least for now. Let's hope
We
it
don't want to. We don't
continues.
want to let him off the hook.
Definitely. I also saw another thing was interesting after is, we kind of talked about how we think Yuji's really leveled up, and Chozo thinks it as well. He called him, I believe it was a war god at one point,
Yes.
and Itadori is just a fucking wrecking ball right now. He is just a little ball of absolute hammer fist. I mean, we know he's got a crazy physical prowess for some reason, and it's cool to see it
Plot
on display.
reasons. But not only that, but yeah, just the way how he moves, his speed, his strength, the way his resilience, everything about him has just taken itself to the next level. And maybe some of that might be contributed to Suguna's fingers, but at the same time, ain't no one hitting back to back to back to back black flashes like that.
No, no, the man just throws hands. We also another
Speaking of hands,
But one thing I want to get to before we get to the hands, I
okay,
think the focus here on Yuji's memories from his childhood are really interesting because now that they know that through this really weird family dynamic, Kenjaku is Yuji's parent. I think it's interesting he's prying because he's trying to see like, did your dad have scars on his head? Did you see anything? Do you remember anything? But, Yuji was raised by his grandfather, and it kind of makes me wonder what time his parents passed away because I mean, you don't remember shit from before you're like, what, 4 or 5 years old, really, at that age.
yeah,
So I'm curious to see how that goes.
no, yeah, I mean, just which one of his parents was Kenjaku, or is it even really was it Kenjaku to begin with? Maybe it was just some other demon that had taken over. You know,
Yeah.
maybe they're not really brothers, and they're being brothers anyways.
Well, the bond is set. It doesn't matter at this point, right?
Yeah, no, they are brothers. You can't take that away from them now.
All right. Let's get to hands, Nom. Do your thing.
Now back to our regularly scheduled JJK content. Um, my God, did this go off though? These two, after taking down the whole swath of curses that were chasing them, these two are now finally actually um what is it? They're approached
That's a good word for it.
by Naoya. And he's like, "Hey, What's going on here, guys? Oh, I'm just looking for Megami myself. He's not here? Oh, well, unfortunately, you're gonna have to die. That was a little interesting.
Definitely.
Just
Well,
just bold.
you can't have any witnesses, you know?
No,
You
no,
can't
not
you
at all.
can't go kill the supposed head of your clan to keep that role yourself and have other people see that shit. But it wasn't only that. It was like Yuta showed up right after too. And this had me a little confused when it like first happened because I was like, wait, Yuta
What did we
showed
see
up,
earlier?
but like we basically had Yuta show up and then we got a flashback and then Yuta shows up again. It kind of threw me off a little bit there.
Yeah, no, same.
But that kind of led me into I really wanted to see a 2v2 here, right?
I thought that they were going to.
I thought it'd be so cool to see like Chozo and Yuji's teamwork, which has progressed incredibly, go up against two guys who are absolute powerhouses, but like had never fought together. They didn't know each other's abilities really. Like I thought it would have been really interesting to see that dynamic. But instead, we just get to see Yuta absolutely beat the shit out of Yuji. And Chojo is going to go up against Naoya. We didn't get to see that this episode, but we'll get into that next episode.
And luckily, the next episode is not very far behind.
Nope.
But one thing that was really interesting too during the Yuji Yuta fight was just the difference in the aura. Like, dude, how are you gonna put Jinwoo to shame like that?
Bro, I was literally sitting there watching this and I'm like, is Yuta Jinwoo? Like that aura was absolutely insane. And the coolest thing that I thought about it was is like when you look at it like coming off his body, it was shaped like Rika.
Yeah, almost like he's trying to still keep the spirit of her there, right? Because she has passed. She's gone away. She's now moved on because he released the curse at the end of the movie. Um, but it's almost like it's his way of still keeping her around without forcing her to stay around with him.
Yeah, and while her spirit has gone on, we clearly learn that the curse is still present. His Shikigami, because it's technically not a curse because he controls it, still there. And at the end of the fight, we get to see Yuta pull out that trump card. Rika basically just like grabs and holds down Yuji. And then we got the bombshell of an ending. We actually see Yuta just impale Itadori's heart and kill him. Like I was not ready for that to be the end of the episode. I thought that was a really cool way to end it.
Yeah, same. Kind of bullshit because that was again like the end of it. But
At least we got
on a
two
good note,
episodes.
yes, we did have a second episode. So, I wholeheartedly though did not expect that. I thought that when it was all shadowed out, right, and we were just seeing the sword move, I thought that was what the last of what we were gonna see. But that's the thing about JJK is that it takes it to that next level. It shows us the things that are not going to be expected. It kills off the characters you want to see live on. Rip Nanami.
He's in Malaysia now, dude. It's fine.
uh,
But yeah, it was an absolute crazy way to end the episode. But typically, this is where we get into the ED. I kind of want to hold off until we get through episode 2. That way, we can put tie a nice bow on our first 2 episodes of JJK. Do you want to get us into the next episode?
yeah. And boy, what a weird way to start. Again, earlier the episode, one more time. We have a it looks like a family, right? I would say some sort of family, and there's a woman in a wheelchair, man behind him, and focusing on a man walking away.
Yeah, I thought this was weird because you couldn't see who it was. And they kind of, I mean, they did it on purpose. They didn't really animate the people behind them very well. Like, it was kind of just like their
They
outlines.
blurred it out, yeah.
and all you could see from this guy walking was just like an arm swinging pretty aggressively. So I'm curious to see where that goes.
Not gonna lie, kind of looks like Megumi.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like anybody wearing a Jujutsu High uniform, though. But kind of like the way he's walking.
It does, but yeah, no, the way how he carries himself and just the way like how his outfit looks in particular compared to everyone's, because like you could see part of his arm and then you could see a bit of his, like, I would say, mid range there, and the whole thing across, it was an entire thing. So unless it was Gojo, right?
True, yeah.
But Gojo does not walk that aggressive.
And he's also playing GameCube right now.
Exactly.
But we see that the intro rolls, and then we come back to the scene we ended the last episode with Yuji's death basically being apparent. We see Sukuna, and this made me think, like, holy shit, is the big dog coming out again right here? And I'm sitting there like, imagine the plot twist we would have gotten if Yuji died, Sukuna gained control of his body, and just totally flipped the script here. Like, I don't think Yuta has the ability to take down the King of Curses, and I thought that would be like straight cinema.
I mean, that would be one way to I guess ensure the defeat of the Jujutsu High, like, balance.
I want to see a bad guy win, dude. I'm gonna say it.
Let's be honest with how strong Sukuna is. I mean, it might be possible.
That would just be such, and like, this is such a dynamic and like popular series that it would have been really cool to see, not gonna lie. But I also really liked, like, did you hear like that crazy song that started playing when they showed Sukuna?
Yeah.
That's what made me think this was gonna go to like an oh fuck moment. But we just actually shift to Chozo taking on the prick. And it does not look like it's going well for the world's best big brother right now, dude.
No, it doesn't. I mean, he is just getting absolutely just walloped all over the place. I mean, the thing with Naoya is that he moves so fast. There's almost like no keeping up with him.
Dude, this shit looks straight up like Luffy throwing punches. Or like a Dragon Ball Z fight where it's just like you don't actually see the fist move half the time. Like, it was that fast.
Yeah.
And the animation here was crazy too. Like, Naoya was scary looking.
Oh god, yeah. Very, very villainous in that sense. But the thing is that as they were fighting, right, Chozo, he's sitting there, he's trying to figure out how the ability works. The thing is that he can't.
I couldn't.
Neither could I. The only thing I could gather was time.
Yeah.
Right?
Something. I slow it down, speed it up, speed himself up, slow the world around him down. I don't know, like something like that.
Yep. But at the same time, he got in a couple really good shots in. Naoya did on Chozo, and one of them actually ended up leaving him with a pretty big hole, and he started bleeding.
Oh yeah, he pulled out a knife, dude. You didn't even see it.
Yeah, because it was that fast.
And I thought it was really interesting here because Naoya was basically like, yeah, you know, like using a weapon as a sorcerer is some pretty weak shit. And with his, you know, with him being in the Zenin clan, I thought that was like a pretty raw jab at Maki because she just uses tools.
That's all she can use. She can't sense, energy like that. She can't use it herself. She can use it through items and stuff, which is why she's got her glasses and such. Lets her see it and their weapons, but that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the other thing that he did that really, really kind of sealed his fate, though, was he talked. He was talking with Chozo, and Chozo's over there like, I would rather be a good big brother. I would much rather, if I take the wrong path, my younger brothers know not to follow me. But if I take the right path, then they can follow me and we can all live, comfortably and stuff like that.
Oh yeah, and I mean, you had Naya there just being like, "Fuck my brothers, they're useless," and you can't piss off the world's number one big brother, dude. And this led to Chozo getting pretty ticked off. And that knife wound was the biggest mistake, I think. Even you can't you hit this guy mentally where you can't hit him, but you also stabbed him. And Chozo's ability just lets him fucking make blood from cursed energy. Dude, this scene was insane when we're watching it just like flood with literal blood. I thought this would have been a great spot to throw a little Slayer in, little raining blood into the fight. Not gonna
Oh
lie,
God,
would have been peak.
that would have. That definitely would have. Um, but no, at the same time, yeah, Chozo played it smart. All he was doing was actually just generating more blood so that way he could do this. And as he finally caught up with Naoya, he ended up soaking him in the blood, right? And then he actually hardened it so that way it was so heavy he couldn't move. And this is where he got him with his signature move, the supernova.
Oh yeah, dude. I love this because like one, Naya doesn't know about that move. That's Chozo's bread and butter. You know, he created that over the last 150 years of just training his abilities. And he was sitting there pretending to do convergence to use piercing blood.
Yep.
And I thought he had an opening here. I guess with his ability, he can move at like 24 FPS, frames per second, something like that. He can.
I think it's he can move in he can break time down into 24ths and then move at 1 frame within those 24 frames.
Yeah, and it was something about being able to do it
Something.
before his body reacted. I was a weird one.
Yeah, basically he can ensure that no matter what path he takes, he always ends up making it to the right, like right where he wants to.
Mhm.
But that was the thing about Supernova was that it wasn't just a focused blast; it was an aerial blast.
Everywhere. Fucking
Yep,
every drop of blood went kaboom.
yep.
But it was good to see this prick get knocked down a few pegs. I liked that.
God, was it ever?
Didn't last long though, because Yuta at this point just shows up with Itadori's corpse, hits the swift karate chop to the neck, knocks
Oh,
Jesus Christ, Chozo the fuck out.
poor Chozo.
And while Nayo is lying on the ground, he realizes that he had some of Chozo's blood enter his body. It really made him realize that he wasn't actually human. And I was kind of curious. I was like, do you think he made the connection to Chozo being a curse wound death painting at this point?
It's tough to say. I mean, like how widely known are they within the JJK world, and how recorded are their abilities, right? Because I hardly imagine that Chozo's changed his look over the past 150 years or so, or however long he's been around, probably longer than that. Um, so I don't know. I think that he just thought that maybe he was just a cursed being.
Yeah. But he did recognize the connection to Kamo Noritoshi based on the blood techniques.
Yes.
So I thought that was interesting. And I was kind of surprised. Like, I mean, right now he's ahead of the Zenin clan. He's got to know his shit, right? So I was kind
Oh
of
yeah.
just curious if he did or not.
I mean, is he really the head of the Zenin clan right now, though?
Well, Megumin's not there. So yeah.
No, I thought it was also interesting too, though. As Naoya was there on the ground and he was kind of dealing with the blood. Uh, Yuta carrying Yuji's corpse, disrespectful. Um, he actually offers to heal Naoya, right?
Yeah.
Which, I mean, that was awfully nice of you. Fuck that guy. He doesn't deserve it. Um, but also dealing with the fact that Naoya didn't want it to be reported that Yuji was dead yet for Megami because he's still trying to track him down. He's like, "Yeah, I'll heal you. You have to report that Yuji's dead."
You're just a nice guy.
Yuji's a nice guy, but he also put the ball in his court. He's like, "Yeah, I'll do this for you, but now you have to out yourself."
Yeah, and it's a combination of that, but it also gives Naya the time to find Megami, carry on his evil master plan here before he does tell the higher ups, because then Megami will return to Jujutsu High, right?
Yeah.
But during this, we kind of get a weird flashback here, and we get some baby Yuji vision. And I was kind of laughing because I was trying really hard not to talk about this during like the first episode. And I didn't really have to hold back on this because you found out 20 minutes later. But we find out that Kenjaku was actually Yuji's mom, Kaori. And the crazy thing for me was those scars were not fresh. No stitches. That was well healed. And I'm sitting there like, well, they had a kid. How long was this dude in a woman's body taking that long dick from Yuji's dad?
I'm glad that's where your mind went with this one. Um,
It wouldn't be a
I
DGen podcast if we didn't bring it up. Come on.
you're not wrong. I found it interesting because yes, now we have the confirmation that Chozo and Yuji are indeed brothers. But just why? Like what is Kenjaku's goal here with everything ultimately, right? Like did he purposely do all of this just because Yuji would be the perfect vessel so that way Sukuna could, build up all of his power inside of him and then um he can now take over Megami for some secret plot that he's got. I mean, it's interesting to see, but it also brings up a lot of questions as to why he did it ultimately.
Yeah. I mean, this plan has been in the making for a long time, hundreds and hundreds of years. So curious to see how that plays out.
Yes.
But thankfully, here we found out that Yuji isn't dead.
Hooray!
Hooray! I know we like killing off characters in JJK, but you can't kill the MC, I guess.
Yet.
And it turns out that Yuta had met with Gojo sometime before this. Gojo kind of thought there was something going on and he might get taken out. And like, I knew Gojo is smart, but he's also Gojo. He's an airhead. So he kind of has some good observation hockey going on to kind of get ahead of this, I thought.
Not only that, but I mean, we get a callback during that flashback to Miguel as well, right? And Yuta going off to doing the training that he did. And it just kind of makes me think, like, obviously he wanted Yuta to be able to control his curse power better and stuff like that and have greater control over it, but just how much more of Gojo's influence are we gonna see until he returns, right? Like how much more stuff does he actually have up his sleeve? Because like another thing too that we're gonna get into um is Tengen. And supposedly we can't see him because Gojo, right? Like he prevents people from being able to find the right room and see it. Um, why is that? Is that
Yeah.
another thing that we're gonna get to learn more about here soon?
Well,
Maybe Gojo talk to him about it.
I think we're gonna learn pretty soon. Not gonna lie, but we're
I
not
hope
there
so.
yet.
No.
So what we do learn, obviously, Yuta's reverse curse technique is very impressive. He actually did have to kill Itadori because to convince the higher ups to let him be the executioner here, he actually forged a pact with them. And he had to kill Yuji for a second to fulfill that pact. But then he was able to heal them again. I figured he probably had the Dragon Balls or something locked up, but turns out he can just heal people who die. So he's fucking God.
So long as he's the one that kills them, though. He can't just bring back some random person.
Yeah.
He has to kill you, then he can bring you back to life.
I think as long as he's just pretty quick, right? But him and Yuta start talking, or Yuji and Yuta start talking, and we just continue to see that immense guilt for what happened in Shibuya. And Yuta's trying to tell him it's not his fault. And that's just when Megami shows up finally and just smacking the sense back into Yuji, which I loved. And it's always great to see Megami be that friend to Yuji that he desperately needs,
Yeah, and especially too, because the entire time when Megami's talking, all you see is Yuji looking down, and he's just talking to himself in his head, and he's like, just everything's my fault. It's all, because of me. I'm such a horrible person. I killed all those people. The world doesn't, I don't deserve to live type thing. And Megami's just like, hey, I had to kill people too. It's not just you. This is what we do. Snap out of it. Come on.
Yeah, we're not superheroes, we're sorcerers. But
So it was really great to see Megami show up too, though, and just be able to really bring Yuji out of that funk.
yeah, definitely.
To have that rock that he can really rely on.
Yeah.
Yuji.
I don't think he's out of it yet. I think he's starting to work towards that though.
Yeah.
But this is kind of where we set the tone for the rest of how this season's going to go. And we learn that Kenjaku, or as Megami calls him for kind of a weird reason here, Noritoshi Kamo, has created a death game, the Culling games. And there's a lot of rules for this. When I read this manga, it was like a page and a half just fucking talking about the Culling game rules. But really, it's going to be a big ass battle royale. You get points for killing people. You get points for killing sorcerers. You can do things like it's a whole fucking game, right? Was there any rules that you thought were really interesting?
Um. Rule number one: after awakening their curse technique, players must go to a colony of their choice within 19 days and pledge their participation in the calling game. I'm pretty sure. So is this? Obviously, we don't really know too much. So I'm assuming that a lot of these people might be new people who don't quite have a cursed ability yet, and maybe they awaken it here, and that's the purpose of this. Um, but at the same time, it would also be weird as to why, like, say, Yuji and Megami could even enter.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's strange, but at the same time, what was it? Rule number three, I think it was, is non-players shall become players upon entering a colony, and their entry shall be taken as pledging to participate in the calling game. So obviously, like, I'm assuming that's how, like, Yuji and Megami would be able to enter, but it seems strange after the whole first rule of after awakening their curse technique. It makes it seem like these people just don't have a curse technique right now, or they haven't awakened it yet.
Yeah.
Woken it.
Yeah, we're going to learn a lot more about it in the next few episodes. I don't want to spoil anything there, but one thing we did learn, and it's kind of why Megami is like, we got to do this shit, is we learned that his sister Sumiki, she has been pulled into this mess. She must have a curse technique awakening. And we obviously find out that Nam was correct. That was Megami in the beginning. But this kind of leads into like Yuji only agrees to do this that if Yuta will kill him if Sukuna takes over again, right?
Yep.
But again, I don't think Yuta's got that in his bag like that. I don't know. We'll see. But this is when they decide to head back to Jujutsu High. They want to meet up with everybody who's kind of involved, and they want to go meet with Tengen. And they're trying to figure out how to get through the doors. And this is also when Yuji asks Megami about like Nobara. And he learns that she did die during Shibuya. And during this like crippling moment, Chozo just pops up out of nowhere. It's like, I might know how to get there. I might know how to get through the 1,000 doors. And just the way this happened, I thought was like fucking hilarious.
It was so great. He has like horrible timing. I mean, perfect timing, but horrible timing.
Definitely. Yeah, we head back to JJK High or JJK Jujutsu High. Sorry, I just want to say JJK because it's shorter. Um, and the gang's all back together, you know. And one thing that had me really confused here is like, shouldn't Jujutsu High be under like crazy surveillance right now?
You would think, especially considering that that is the main school where all of the major incidences so far have been happening, and all of the players involved are currently enrolled.
Yeah. So I feel like taking Yuji back there's not a good idea. But they kind of get together, they put together this plan. But one thing I really will say is I love the fact that Yuta turns into like a little puppy around Maki.
Uh,
He's right back to the Yuta we remember from like JJK Zero, and I thought that was pretty funny.
it was fantastic, and I wonder if that's how he's gonna be around like um Panda and who's the other one? The voice
Uh
guy.
oh, I don't remember his name off the top of my head, honestly. But
Tuna.
he's Kelp Flakes.
Yeah, tuna kelp flakes.
That's what we'll call him. It's fine.
But yeah, I think he's gonna revert back to his old self around those guys a lot more if they have more interactions.
Definitely. Yeah, from there we head into the Tomb of Stars, and we kind of make our way through this maze, I guess, to where the Tomb of Stars is, where Tengen is present. And I thought it was really interesting as when they went down the elevator, that blood from the hidden inventory arc still right there, where we saw that little girl get her brain blown out. And kind of surprised nobody cleaned that up, not gonna lie. But
I think they maybe attempted to, and it's more symbolic. And so instead of it being cleaned up, it kind of stained its way there permanently.
yeah. Actually, you know what? Nobody could probably figure out how to get down there. Let's be real.
True. True.
But yeah, they make their way into the Tomb of Stars, and fuck, this place is trippy as hell.
I just they're like, hey, let's make our way down. How are you making your way down? Are you sliding down branches?
No, they're jumping, dude.
Yeah, because that's the sensible thing.
They're jumping, and then when they hit the ground, they do a forward roll, and you don't take full
Okay.
damage. Yeah.
I thought they were just gonna superhero land it.
Then you yell, yeah.
I know it's bad for your knees, but you know.
It looks cool though. But they're not superheroes. We got to remember that.
Cinematic as fuck.
They're not superheroes though. They're sorcerers. We got to remember that. But yeah, they enter the tomb, and it's really fucking trippy. But like Tengen is not there. And as they go to leave, we see Tengen appear behind them, and he's fucking a character. Looks crazy, but he basically just recognizes everyone who's there,
By
and
their titles.
exactly like son of so and so, Sukuna's vessel, death wound painting, all that kind of shit. And then the episode ends. So I'm excited to see where this picks up next week. I'm so ready for some more JJK. But let's talk about the ED. This shit was depressing, dude.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really kind of is more. It seems more like a reflection of Yuji itself.
Definitely. Yeah. It starts out really dark. Like, just the song is kind of just feels
S-
like
Sad
just,
and depressing.
yeah, despair, right? But like, and then all of a sudden it starts getting like super uplifting. And that gives me hope that our boy is going to find his way out of this. And I was like trying to pick up on some of the imagery here that they showed. And there was a lot of pandas, dude.
There's definitely a lot of pandas. One thing that I noticed was as the mood changed, right? You saw the painting of the door, and Yuji was just kind of sitting in it almost the entire time. Um, and then he gets up and he walks off, and then as he walks off, the whole painting changes, and then it goes like in this very bright scenic view throughout it. So that might also be an indication too of just how the seasons ahead are gonna go. It isn't gonna be a quick, easy transition. We're gonna deal with a lot of darkness and despair throughout the calling games, but then as things start to get to the end, we're gonna start to see the light, and Yuji's gonna start to see the light as well.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I thought was very interesting is we're obviously about to go talk about Hell's Paradise season 2, episode 1 next, but the endings had a really similar vibe to them.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And it's probably just again the thematic nature of what's going on, right?
Hmm.
Um, without getting too much into Hell's Paradise, obviously we're dealing with Gabimaru trying to remember about his wife, and then we have Yuji who's trying to not think about all the people that he slaughtered as he was Sukuna.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's definitely very depressing, heavy esque um, theme between these two. You
definitely.
know what else is a very common theme between these two? The
What?
animation studio.
True. And I'm really excited this year to compare the animation between JJK and or not Mappa, just Chris, JJK and Hell's Paradise, because I've always thought Hell's Paradise is one of the best. It was like the best animated show we got at that time.
Yeah. No, it had such a unique visual presentation to it, and then just the way how they actually delved into the action instead of like shying away from it and then going into the more graphic nature of what they do. It really stood out, and it was just very, very well done.
Definitely. But should we get into Hell's Paradise at this point?
I think we should.
Let's do it. So we got episode 1 of season 2 titled Dawn and Confusion. And this kind of started with a meeting with the shogunate from Jika. He was one of the Asaimon who was on the island, somehow made it back. Good for him. Nobody should ever make it off that island, from what I can tell. But it was good because it gave us a little recap to get us back up to speed with at least like some major plot points. And one thing that stood out to me is like, I can't believe basically in the entirety of season 1 took place in 2 days.
Yeah, no, I mean,
Because so much happened. We learned so much. Like, I thought it was crazy.
yeah, it's hard to just comprehend how much of that truly like the time scale essentially it felt like it was closer to a week, maybe 2 weeks worth of stuff, not just 2 days.
Yeah. Like, I know we bounced around a lot, but like we spent a lot of time with like Gabi Maru and Sagiri that it felt like it was longer. So that kind of surprised me. Not as much of Jika though. Jika might have surprised me a little more here. I don't really remember him from season 1 because he wasn't one of the main characters, like we didn't spend a lot of time with here. And that dude is a very interesting person. He is the polar opposite of like every samurai we've met in this show so far. And I'm kind of excited to see him come back to the island, which we learn he has to later in the episode. One thing here, though, too, is we also get introduced to Shugen, who is kind of the acting head of the Asaemon clan. And he seems like a pretty big fucking deal. Like, one of the Shogunate members starts talking back to him a little bit. And his colleague was like, hey, do you know who the fuck that is? So I'm interested to see his character dynamic. There's so many things we learn in this episode I'm really excited about. But before we get into that, let's talk about the intro. This was one of the prettiest, like, well animated anime intros I have ever seen. Like, the colors, the fire, everything there was so clean.
Yeah, I mean, if you told me that they had a pretty big budget for the JJK intro, they fucking doubled it or tripled it for this one. And I mean, I don't even think that this show is anywhere near as high in popularity, so it's probably not making them as much money as JJK, but like, my god, you didn't have to go out this hard for this OP.
Yeah, and like with JJK and this releasing at the same time, I was like, did they put the A crew on this instead of JJK? Like, I was really surprised there.
It really feels like it.
The song was pretty tight too. I like this song. The song was fun.
Yeah.
But getting back into kind of where we are in the story, we learn that 4 more Asaemon samurai, as well as 4 Iwagakure shinobi, are going to be heading to the island here. And it turns out they were going to send more criminals. They were going to do their little battle royale again. They were going to take 4 of them. They were going to go. But the ninjas from Gabimaru's clan just showed up and killed everyone, so they got to go. And that like really makes me think that there are some serious ulterior motives here for why that old fart, the clan leader of the Iwagakure, is doing this. I'm really curious to see. We did get to see, like, he says, like, there's something I'm interested in there. And we got to see Gabimaru. But I think there's a lot more to this than just getting Gabimaru back, right?
I mean, if I had to guess, it's probably something to do with the elixir of life.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. I mean, who wouldn't want something like that? And if you can send some of your ninjas there, I mean, who better to retrieve something and bring it back?
Definitely. But I'm curious to see how that plays out, like in the long term. Another thing that had me kind of confused is we do see Shugen and Chika talking, and they're talking about like going back to the island. Chika's not excited for that, but Shugen starts crying, and he's worried about the fate of his clan members who are there. And that has me really confused about his character. Like, I thought he was going to be like a total badass, like potentially moving more to like an adversary role, but it seems like he really cares about his clan. And if like Sagiri and Shion and those guys are teamed up with the criminals, like, how is that going to play out? I'm really excited to see that.
Yeah, same. I mean, he seems like he's a very, very passionate character.
Yeah,
So that could play out in a number of ways.
definitely. And then the last thing that had me, well, this episode surprised me a lot. I'm going to put it that way. But Jika keeps becoming more and more of an interesting character. To try and not have to go back to the island, he brought back a decapitated monster head. And then he also asked somebody who was standing there if you want to go to the red light district or back to his place. So Jika swinging both ways. He's officially my favorite bisexual character in Hell's Paradise because he's the only one.
Yeah, I was gonna say you can't really count any of the things on the island. They're not really people to begin with.
Yeah, but you know what they are doing right now? They're having a fucking pool party.
Hey,
But not just any pool party. This is an
is
orgy.
it? I was gonna say, is it an orgy pool party?
It is an orgy pool party. The Tenson have moved from their castle to some training grounds, they called it. And it was animated really, really beautifully. Like, I want to go, well, besides the things we've talked about, this looks like a nice place to go relax, right? They got
Oh, for
tunes,
sure.
they got a sick ass pool, they got a tent for Bochu Jutsu, or as the layman's like to call it, boning. They're getting after it. And we see two of the Tenson getting after it. And the O was so good, the chick's head exploded.
Yeah, they were talking about like absorbing each other and stuff like that, and then that scene happened, and it's like, oh, okay, that's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like going back to season one, the reason they would switch genders and like do bochu jitsu all the time was like because it got them in tune with the yin and the yang sides of Tao. But yeah, I guess that's how you train when that's what you do. So good for them.
You just bone. You heard it here, folks. Hell's Paradise told you, not us.
Yeah, if you training arcs should include more boning, is what I've learned. But from there, we leave the pool party and we head into the Tenson's castle. And Sagiri, Yuzuriha, Nuragai, and Shion are here. And they're discussing their plans to reconnect with Gabimaru and Mei. At this part, like, I love the fact that Yuzuriha was like, yeah, so we learned that the elixir of life isn't really a thing. Can we get the fuck out of here? And Sagiri is just like, no, we need to meet up with them. And Yuzu's like, nah, nah, nah. And like, I love that Sagiri just picked up on Yuzu's bullshit in the scene right away and was like, we need to do this. Let's do this. All this other stuff. I thought it was really funny. But to get to the biggest part of biggest part of the episode, I think the thing that Nam has been waiting the most to talk about, we get some hands.
We do get some hands. And this fight went pretty hard. And um it was Chobe who we went up against. Um Very, very gruesome. I mean, very fitting as well for Gabimaru. This man was trained to literally do the most amount of damage as possible. And he was going at it. Like he ripped his eye out. He what is it? What else did he bit his tendon, stuff like that. Like
Yeah.
it, they showed a lot of pretty gruesome scenes. Mappa, you have killed it this time. The scene
100%.
so far, fantastic. Just keep it up the entire way.
Oh yeah, and there was one of the Asaimon who was there, like watching this. Was like, this is like watching two wild beasts fight. This isn't like watching humans fight. And I thought that was such a good parallel. But one thing for me, like, I didn't get a chance to go back and watch season one. I totally forgot Gabimaru had amnesia. And like after seeing this play out more, I really hope he gets his memory back soon because like this has really affected his character. All that growth we saw just out the window. Like Gabimaru is becoming a hollow again. You know, he's becoming hollow. And I thought that was so fitting because his character just feels hollow. He doesn't have that thing he was fighting for. He doesn't remember his wife. And I just hope we get our boy back soon, dude.
Yeah, no, just to see him back at full peak again would be absolutely amazing. Um and as well too, like as the fight's going on, we even get some other things too, like his Tao Big.
Dude, Chobei's packing some heat.
Chill, chill. Girl, you look like you're fucking 7 years old. What are you talking about?
It makes sense that she can see she's part of the Tenson, whatever. But what a way to put it. His Tao big. Yeah, I'm sure it is. Sure, he's got a big set of yin going on there. But
Yeah.
as we see this fight progress, we just see it get more and more insane. Like, we're getting a lot of Nimpo. We're getting a lot of, like, Gabimaru's body is literally burning. Like, his skin is burning off his body. And
Yeah.
you see that old Gabimaru come back. He's like, if I die, somebody else from the clan will take over my mission. Like, it doesn't matter as long as the mission's successful. And I'm like, no, Gabi, you got something to live for, bro. Come on.
Another thing too is as like Gabby and Chobe were fighting, Chobe was actually telling Toma, his brother, to go and attack the other group because they're all weak and stuff like that, right? But I would not want to fight the Blade Dragon, dude.
No.
He literally never even pulled out his sword. He just straight up smacked the kid around.
Dude, I will never fight somebody named the Blade Dragon. Come on.
But it was also interesting to see though, because he did remark just how quickly Toma was learning and adapting on the fly, which makes me think that we're probably going to get to see a pretty interesting thing considering what happens at the end.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we kind of hear Gabimara talking to Chobe, and like kind of about like that whole thing, like, I'm just here to fulfill my mission. I don't have anything to fight for, blah, blah, blah. And Chobe starts realizing that he does have something to fight for. And he's fighting with Chozo right now to be the world's number one big brother. At least in the winter 2025 season for the shows we're covering. And he decides to go all out with the Tau that he acquired last season. And we're about to get an awesome fight next week. I'm super excited for it. We're getting demigod plant version of Chobe versus a literal Burning Man.
Yeah, it's gonna be absolutely insane. It's also gonna be hard to see how Gabimar is gonna come up and top this one, considering using his Ninpo, he set Chobe on fire, put literal holes in him, and then tried to continue to burn him there afterwards.
Yeah, and we even had Chobe say that he can't heal fast enough. Because after ingesting the Tau, he is able to heal. So I'm curious to see how this plays out. I don't think Chobe is going to die yet. I think they've built him up to be too big of a character.
Yeah.
But I'm curious to see. Well, one, I'm more excited to see the hands than anything else next episode. But I'm curious to see how it plays out with the story too.
Yes.
Yeah, that was pretty much it for episode 1, though. It was a good refresher. We got some good plot points of what's going to progress this season, and we got that classic Hell's Paradise boxing. So I'm really excited. Get into the EED. I thought this song was kind of a vibe, dude.
Yeah. It was very chill. Very mellow, I would say.
But they did some really interesting things with the visualizations too. Like, we see at the beginning, it's dark, it's just black and white, it's Gabi Maru, and all of a sudden, like, all the color comes back and the song changes up its vibe a little bit, kind of like JJK did. And it's vibrant. It's like those colors that we're used to seeing in the show when Gabi Maru was his wife. But then it fades back to black with just Gabi Maru like surrounded by darkness again at the end. So I'm curious to see if this is kind of like a metaphor for how this season's going to go. I'm curious to see how that plays out.
Same. Same. One thing too that I also noticed at the end, um, just kind of like talking about the whole color coming in and stuff like that, how it all disappears at the end as he reaches out. for her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought it was really well done. I'm probably not gonna listen to the song a million times, but if it shows up on my Spotify playlist, I'm not gonna be mad.
Same.
But awesome. That's all we got for Hell's Paradise this week. We'll be back next week talking with the boys. Got with a couple of our award-winning listeners. They're talking about like last year, wrapping that up. And then the week after that, we'll be back with the rundown. That'll have Frieren on it. We're talking 2 episodes of each of these shows. Really excited to get into that. And then, yeah, should be exciting.
Yeah. Also, let us know what you guys thought of the new format. Again, it's our first time doing it. We're just gonna experiment a little bit and see what works. But no, I felt like this went well.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
But let us know what you guys think.
Jump in the Discord, linktree.com/AnimeDegens. Go to podcast discussion, let us know, and we'll catch you guys next week. Peace.
Later.